Good morning, everyone. I hope you brought your cup of coffee or cold water or hot
My
water,
cold.
tea, or whatever you're drinking. So, welcome to Thoughtful Thursdays. It doesn't matter when you're listening or where you're listening. And we just are excited to come to you today. We have a guest. Emmalou is the bomb about families. Just
Yeah.
so much good information. And first of all, I want to say I'm Carol Henderson with Life by Design, and I help you to circle up in life and make your life get better and better every day. It's a choice whether you're going to have a good day or a bad day.
hmm
So choose well. And I'm
Yeah.
here with my wonderful co-host, Miss Barbara Ellison. And
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm Barbara Ellison. I'm a transformational life trainer. I can't talk this morning. Founder of Wellness Playroom for the best version of you. And you know what? I think each and every one of us deserves to lead happy, healthy, debt-free, abundant lives and have happy families and great relationships. So that's one of the things that this show is all about, is just up leveling your experience of life. Whether you are single, but you know what, we can't do life on our own. So you might have family around you, you might have work family around you, you might have extended family around you, but you know what, we have to get along with them. So that's where Emmalou comes in. Oh, Emmalou, welcome to the show. I am so excited to see you and just to hear some of your tips and tricks and things that you do to, make families. I mean, families sometimes can be the hardest people to deal with.
yes, yes,
Thank you, Barbara and Carol. It's an honor to be here. And I agree with you. You think of your family. There's no one you love more, you would do anything for them. And there's also no one who can aggravate you and push your buttons more than those sweet, wonderful people you call family.
Ah,
So I really believe, though, with all their challenges, families are the foundation of society. If we want to make the world a better place, let's start with the foundation. Let's make sure
yeah.
families are strong and raising a new generation to have integrity and to
yes,
want to be kind and give back.
exactly.
Yeah. And because don't you think all of that it's the ripple effect
Yes.
that when we can really just embrace that foundation of family. So,
And it really does all start in the home.
Yes,
yes.
Schools can try to fill in, but from even before they're born, they've done studies that a baby in utero is still sentient. They can hear sounds,
Yes.
so they can hear you talking about them. They're learning. Their brains are just wide open, taking in the tone of voice people use when they talk to them, how they're treated. Are they picked up with gently and with love or with impatience? It's all starting to run that program.
yes.
And
Emily, I'm just my brain is going crazy. You need to go after the show and watch our show that we did with Sarah Baumgartner. She has a whole tape, a CD for the preborn child.
For
And
expectant mothers.
for
We'll
expecting.
have to introduce you to her.
Yeah, so we
She's
will
absolutely,
definitely have
she's
to.
wonderful.
Yeah, and she's a great podcast host. I mean, a podcast guest. But she talks about all the stuff the parents that the child hears and healing those hurts that are in there. But she's on our Thoughtful Thursdays, I think, wasn't
I
she?
think so. I
And
think so.
stuff. So go check that out. And all of you people listening, after you hear Emily, go listen to Sarah because they just mesh what they're saying. And
Right.
yes,
Right.
so much of our problems, challenges, whatever you want to call them these days in our lives at this age, go back to before you're born. Because
Yes.
the children do hear. They know their mother's voice. They know their father's voice. They know their favorite songs and things that people have played in the room, the music that they grew up with, literally. So, anyway, sorry to interrupt you there, Emmalou. I just got so excited to tell you you've got to meet this woman.
Well,
Yeah, we'll have to introduce you.
Yeah.
most expectant couples, it's a tendency to want to talk to the baby, and go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And tell them you're so excited that they're going to be joining the family, and you love them. And then, after they're born, they need to hear. It's interesting, but quite often as women, do we sometimes just kind of look in the mirror and start, oh, gee, my face isn't quite right, just need to lose another 20 pounds. Our young daughters pick up on that.
Right.
And they start looking at and developing that negative self-image. So if we can say positive things about ourselves, you really can't teach someone else to be confident if you aren't confident yourself.
Well,
Right.
and you hear it and you start believing it too. The more you say it, the more you start believing it.
Right. Right.
And the more they believe it as you say it to them. And I don't think it's possible to express love too frequently or too often. And
Right.
in all the different love languages, we know that some people feel loved when they're being hugged, and some people just
That's
want
me.
you to spend time with them. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and my oldest son, he wants cards. He likes cards and letters.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. I think one of the things for me, and I mean, I don't want to make this a soapbox against schools. However, I think there is a sad gap in our learning, that we learn all facts and figures about, the causes of the French Revolution and the fall of the Roman Empire. Okay, really? Is that going to help us live our life any more effectively? No.
It depends on how you learn it. If all you're learning is the dates.
Right.
If you're learning cause and effect.
Right. My thing is, it's great to learn those things, but learn how it impacts how those cause and effects can impact your life now.
Well, and the whole thing of rewriting history, which they've
Yeah.
done a lot.
Oh, rewriting history. Yeah.
I urge parents to take charge of their child's education. Don't turn them over to a public school or any other school. Be involved. Have a real close communication with that teacher. And quite often parents meet teachers like this. No. Form this synergistic team. Focus on what's best for your child, because most teachers care about children. And focus on now teachers are bound by curriculum and state mandates, federal requirements. But if teachers know that they have your support to enrich and open your child's mind, and you're volunteering at the school, you're involved, you're part of the team, we could improve. I think just parental involvement could greatly enhance our educational system. Well, and you're right, Barbara, it's got a lot of challenges right now.
It does. Yeah. It does. And I think that one of the things that the shutdown helped is that the parents saw what needed to happen. Some of them that were watching their children's online classes and hearing things that were totally this way with their basic core beliefs. And they're going, you're teaching that to my child? They had no clue because they weren't involved.
Right.
Weren't doing their parental due diligence. And I mean, my mom was a teacher. Her parents met as college professors. And, that was very rare for women to be a college professor that long ago. But yeah, and she loved teaching. She especially knew about dyslexia and helping children read with dyslexia because she was dyslexic. Nobody knew. They didn't know about it back then. She said she never knew which baseball to catch when she was playing catcher. She didn't know which one to catch. And so she, did lots of things with her she was first grade. I still have her students that come to me and say, look here, this is what she taught me. She was wonderful. She, I just had a class reunion and people were coming up all over talking about it. But, if you don't know what's going on in school, you might try homeschooling. It's really not that hard, even if you have a job.
Some parents feel intimidated. They go into the school, they see this professional with the advanced degrees, but know that you are the expert on your child. No one knows your child as well as you do. No one is invested in them for life. The teacher may be heavily involved in their life for a year, but you're there for the lifetime.
Yes.
So don't be afraid to gently and respectfully share your concerns. And while the local public school may be a great option, it isn't the only option. We have charter schools now and more private schools and more homeschool co-ops. So know the options. Just carefully check out all the options that are there for your child and then shop around. What's the best one?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
And the charter schools are such a neat option. One of my grandkids will be going to a charter school this year. But we homeschooled our 3 boys and it was great. And as they got into high school, we did do a lot of we had a lot of athletic co-op things and just play co-op. But then we started having, if somebody had a specialty in science, would teach a science class. Somebody who was specialized in writing taught the English and grammar part of it to get them college ready. And they did, for the most part, go on to college. And on that, college isn't an end all be all. The trades are very much needed in our society and overlooked.
But communication is key. Whether you're communicating with your child's school or with your child or with your spouse or whoever is helping you raise this child, it's important to be on the same page. Now, this means not only communicating effectively. I advocate active listening. I'm sure you found that's critical. Listening not only to the words they're saying, but to what they're not saying, to their body language. And this means you're not on your phone. You're not trying to multitask and do something else. And worse yet, you're not planning your response while they're still talking.
Right.
But you are totally focused on them. You're listening to understand. You're applying empathy. You're putting yourself in their shoes. How would I feel if I were them?
Yes.
And this type of active listening can eliminate so many misunderstandings, so much heartache in a family.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things that, in fact, just the other day, I was talking to a gal and we were and I can't even remember exactly what it was that we were talking about, but I said something and she says, well, why do you say that? I mean, oh, I know, we were talking about color. And I said, oh, and I was doing something in red. And she said, oh, why are you doing that in red? Red is angry. And I said, no, red means you're on fire. For me, it meant that I was on fire. This was a good thing. This was, wow, I was getting this done. And it sparked such a great conversation because she said, oh, right. She said, because in my opinion, it was a great color because it meant I was making progress. I was doing something good. In her mind, it was coming across as angry and not something to be taken seriously or done. And it sparked such a great conversation.
And I bet you came out of that understanding her much more thoroughly.
Better. And that's exactly what I think is missing sometimes in the conversation in the school and or between the teacher. I mean, like I loved what you said, that sometimes parents go in with that they're either intimidated and it comes across as being, oh, well, you're not, I mean, who are you? You know,
Defensive, yeah.
they come across as defensive. And yet I think that is just so important. And plus for me, myself and I, so much of the things that they're teaching in school are not life lessons. I agree we need academics because is people from all over that love history, that they love all the dates, they want to do everything. However, there are also people that, no, I want to learn how to work with my hands. So let's do a little bit of vocation. You have a little bit more vocational training and more like of the arts and sciences, and a little bit more diversity to give kids a chance to see, gee, I really like art. Oh, I don't like science. Oh, I really like literature. Oh, maybe I could be a writer.
Barbara, the most effective system I have ever seen. You know, I was a school teacher for 24 years. I studied a lot of different methodologies.
Right.
And my favorite is called student-centered learning. It's the opposite of what we have in our public schools now, where it's all defined by the curriculum. This is what you have to know by the end of this year. Therefore, these are the facts we're going to cover. So you'll do well on the test and the school looks good.
Right.
Student-centered learning, you begin by just observing what is the child interested in.
Right.
Well, whatever it is, just in pursuing that interest, they will naturally want to learn how to read because they'll want to be able to read about it. They'll learn how to write. They want to write about it. They'll learn whatever math is involved in their interest.
Right.
And this was started, the Sudbury model, in Massachusetts in the 1960s.
Yes.
So they have the data.
They have it.
Tracked what happened to their graduates. And you know what they found out? A higher percentage of their graduates went on to advanced degrees and became entrepreneurs. But they didn't go on to college and university because they felt like they had to. They were sincerely fascinated. And they had better paying jobs. They started their own businesses. They got outside the box.
Exactly. I think that's one of the biggest things. Kids are not taught to think outside the box. It's like, that's one of the things that I said just the other day. Some friends of mine and I were talking. I said, for 60 years, I now realize for 60 years, I felt like I was living in somebody else's skin and living by somebody else's rules.
You know, our modern school system was based on producing factory workers.
Exactly.
The Dewey system, it was just teach them, just follow the rules, do as you're told.
Little robots.
Little robots. And we need to get out of that system.
Yes.
And it's going to take parents to make that happen.
Yes. And especially for little boys, sit down and shut up. Some people don't learn by sitting. They're more kinetic in their
right.
And the other thing I want to say is that, as a parent, when you walk into that school, don't become the little child.
Yes.
Because so many parents, when they walk into the school, they become the child and submissive to the teachers. When you're talking about going and talking to teachers and principals and stuff, and you don't want to go in a combative manner, but you want to go in humbly, graciously,
kindly.
Don't be the little child in trouble when you get to the principal's office.
And start with something positive. Yeah. If nothing else, compliment the teacher on her bulletin board. Everyone needs appreciation.
Yes.
So if you start with something positive and then just in a respectful, straightforward way, I am concerned. I noticed this assignment he brought home doesn't match his learning style. How can
Exactly.
we help him learn more effectively?
Right.
And then
That's
you're
one of
part of
my
the
things.
team. You're inviting them to collaborate with you.
Right.
You know, and something I just thought of, even a card or a gift at the beginning of the year and during the year goes a long way to softening their hearts and not seeing you as the enemy. Because perception is 90% of the game. And so if they perceive you as combative because your child is always in trouble, maybe. So, yeah.
Right.
And volunteer. They love,
Right, yeah.
teachers love volunteers. Even if it's just, I'll cut out all of your laminated objects.
Yes, exactly.
Something you could do at home.
Something you had done home, something you could do sitting in the back of the room, be quiet and just listen. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Teachers are overworked and underpaid. I will say that.
absolutely.
My mom would grade papers till 2 a.m. for first graders. You know, but she, like I said, was a very good teacher.
Yeah.
But you know, they are overworked and the classes are too big, and they
Yeah.
do the best they can. For the most part, there are those that you see on the YouTube channels that are trying to do all kinds of weird, nasty things.
Right.
But those are the exception to the rule.
Yeah. That's like my daughter-in-law. She teaches preschool. And many times she would come home and we would be making the project. And we would be buying the
Yeah, the bulletin board supplies.
the bulletin boards, or we would be buying the supplies.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, when there was a couple of times where it's like, well, here, let me contribute, you know, and so we would make contributions to because they didn't have, because she's so creative and so hands-on, and the kids love her.
Well, and then teachers too, that the pre-K or whatever, they soil their clothes, and they are sent with just half their clothes on.
Yeah.
Nothing in the bag. And so the teachers are paying out of their own pocket for clothes. I was visiting with a lady the other day that that's what they did. And, you know, they would have to help clothe and shoe the children out of their own pockets.
And if you had an effective team of parents and teachers working together to help with this, it wouldn't be just on the teachers. I have a suggestion about the bulletin boards. Why not let the children contribute? What would it do for their self-esteem to see there's my artwork on the bulletin board? Yeah. I'm part of this class. I'm contributing.
Right. Right. Make them feel that they're all an integral part of the class.
Well, and it doesn't have to be out of a magazine, you know.
Yeah.
Picture perfect.
Right. Right. And I think that's part of the thing too, is we are kind of brought up it's like that we have to be perfect. Oh, you know, well, Carol, you're a case in point. Heaven forbid, you know, an only child of a of a teacher. Oh, brother.
Well, and my dad was German and very strict. So I got away with nothing.
Yeah.
And
so it's just
been a lifetime getting over the perfectionism. That part was from my bloodline and part was from my upbringing. And it has been a work in progress to leave things I believe in doing things with excellence, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And that can be a hard lesson too.
Yeah, and like Carol and I have had this conversation a couple of times, just because we have done so much together. It's like, Carol, we just need to get this up. Up is better
than perfect.
Up is better than perfect.
His saying is perfectly imperfect.
Perfectly imperfect.
And so when we were all down in Dallas, Barbara and Donna and I don't remember who else, but we found a little pyramid thing that had that perfectly imperfect on one side of it. And we bought that and gave it to him as a gift.
Yeah, and he uses it and he shows it all the time. So, but anyway, so Emma, let's tell people how people can get in touch with you.
All right. Well, my website is healingyourfamilies.com. I'm on LinkedIn, just Emmalou Penrod. I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Pinterest. My
I
board
do not.
is
You do.
Healing Your Families.
Okay.
And
Ooh,
I also share my I have a weekly show on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And that's on my YouTube channel. And I also share it to my Pinterest board.
wow, we need to talk more on how to do that. So,
Yeah. So now what's the name of your show?
Healing Your Families.
Okay.
okay, plural.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now,
Go ahead.
it's, you know, we have more than one. We have the family we grew up with. We have the family that we raise. We have the family that we create as we draw together that circle of support that everyone needs. You know, we're social animals.
Yes.
We need each other.
Right.
Yes.
And like one of my things is you can't do life you can't do life alone.
Yes.
So why not? Let's get along together.
Yes.
Yes. So I have a question.
Absolutely.
Did you have something you wanted to share with them today or anything?
Yes. You know, we talked about family members. We love them, and sometimes they can really get under our skin. And quite often we find that there's like a knee-jerk reaction. There's sometimes it's like a trigger, that one thing they do that irritates us, and we lash out with that knee-jerk reaction and immediately regret it. So I wrote, it's called 8 Steps to Change a Negative Reaction to a Positive Response.
Oh.
And it's just a PDF file. We talk about before the incident, during, and after. Just simple steps you can implement to change that mindset and change and become that calm, loving parent you want to be. Now, they can go to EmmalouPenrod.com/8 steps. They can get it there. It's right there.
Yeah, and we'll put it in the show notes.
Wonderful. Yeah,
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So cool beans.
Well, this is Thoughtful Thursdays. You'll be seeing it come up on YouTube after we're through with the Facebook. But this has been great. So if you're watching on Facebook, please click like and share. Tell all your friends about our show, because we want to help make the world better. And like Emmalou said, it starts with the family. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, ring the bell so you know when more shows are coming up, like it, give the little thumbs up, and tell your friends about us. So all of those things, and we will see you next week.
Have a good one. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.